Hi there. So you've been thinking, or maybe you've been pitched, getting a group RESP or a scholarship trust for your children. Well, I'd like to share a few facts with you and to give you guys 6 key questions that you need to get answers to in order to make an informed decision. All right, stay tuned. All right, welcome back. All right, so you're thinking about getting a group RESP or a scholarship trust for your child or children. Now, okay, what does this mean? Now, at the end of the day, the first thing I want to say about group RESPs and scholarship trusts is that there's all kinds out there. So there's different programs that have been put together from different companies. I don't personally sell any of them. I do have clients that have bought into them, and we've had to look through some of the good things and bad things that have happened with those programs. Okay. Now, number one, just like a regular RESP, you use your after-tax money, the money, your net salary, the money that comes out of your net salary, to basically pay into the program. Okay, that's number one. You don't get a tax receipt, a tax deduction like you would get from an RRSP. Okay, so that's number one. That's a group RESP from a tax perspective behaves the same way as a regular RESP. Okay. Number two, typically, all the contributions are pooled together. All the families, all the money that all the families come, they are all invested together. Now they do keep track of who invested what and what's eligible for each family and each child, but they invested together. It's a pooled approach, right? Kind of a great, bigger by the numbers type of game. Okay, and the investment portfolio is therefore managed by the Group RESP program. It's the Group RESP program that's responsible for making sure that that money is invested in the right way for the families, for the children. Okay, so you don't have control over the investment portfolio. It's up to the Group RESP program to manage that part of the deal. And lastly, there's different fee structures from one program to the next. They're not all the same, and it's important to understand that. I'm going to get into that a little bit here. Now, with that, I want to get down to those 6 key questions. All right. Question number 1. What if your child doesn't go to school or doesn't use all the money to go to school, right? Do you get that money back? Do you have to, or do you forfeit it all? Understand what are the rules if your child doesn't go to school or basically just, can't use all the money for whatever reason. Maybe they go to school for 2 years and that's it, right? You never know. That's a long time in the future. We don't know what our kids are going to do, right? Best intentions, but life is life. Next, question number 2. What happens if you need to stop contributing on a regular basis, right? Maybe you lose your job. Maybe you've got hard times coming up ahead. You have to suspend some contributions to get through the hard times, right? Are there any penalties that have to be paid? Do you forfeit some of the money? What are the consequences of that? Just make sure you understand that because we never know looking into the future. Number 3, what's the terms, conditions, and limitations on how the money can be taken out once your child is in school? All right. Now, there are certain rules the government puts in place, and I'll cover those in a different video. But are there any special limitations or conditions on how much money can be withdrawn per year while your children is in full-time education or post-secondary education at an approved institution? Okay. Make sure you understand that piece. Number 4, what are the expected rate of returns of the investments? I mean, what are we expecting these investments to grow? Are they primarily always invested in bonds that may give you 2-3% a year? Or is there a more aggressive portfolio that's put in, particularly when the child is in the younger years, so you can grow the money faster, maybe in younger years, and then look at more conservative investments in the later years as you get closer to school time, right? So what are we expecting that money to grow by? Okay. Number 5, what fees will need to be paid? And make sure you understand all of it. And here you have to make sure you understand a little bit of the lingo. You could, fees can be called fees. Fees can be called sales charges. Fees can also be somehow called premiums, depending on if there's an insurance component involved and things like that. So really make sure you understand all the fees that can be can be charged here, because I've had some clients where the fees or sales charges have nearly equaled the amount of grants that they would have received from the government. Basically almost nulling out the grants that they received and things like that. Again, they weren't informed going in terms of what was going on, and as a result, just paid a lot of sales charges and fees for different reasons. So you want to understand what are the different reasons and things like that that can drive fees, penalties, sales charges, premiums. It's nothing to be scared about. It's just be informed about it, and then you can make an informed decision. Knowledge is power. As long as you put that knowledge into action, you'll get power. All right? Last, number 6. Do you receive the Canadian Education Savings Grants with the program? Now, that is probably by far one of the most important questions, is make sure you're getting that grant money. The government, if you're making contributions into an RESP program, the government wants to give you money. My gosh, that doesn't happen very often. They want to give you money. So you want to make sure you can receive that money, okay? 20% for up to $2,500 of contributions per year. And you can also, if you have, like, let's say you start late, you can contribute from previous years up to another $2,500 from a previous years that would have not have been contributed, and you get 20% of that matched, okay? And I'll talk about that in another video in more detail. But can you get the grants for the current year that you're contributing? Can you also get grants from previous years that you may not have gotten grants for because you didn't start contributing earlier? Okay, so important to understand how much grants can you get from the government through this program. All right, so I hope that this has been value added for you. Keep putting that knowledge into action. Have a good one.